Today's interview is with Benjamin Ladraa, a Swedish human rights activist who walked 4,800 kilometers through 15 countries for 11 months with a Palestinian flag on his back to raise awareness about the plight of the Palestinian people under the Israeli occupation. Today, I am doing this interview with you, Mr. Ladraa, from our studios here in Bethlehem, Palestine. Can you please briefly introduce yourself to us?
Hi, my name is Benjamin Ladraa. I'm from Sweden. I'm 25 and I'm a human rights activist. And I spent the last year walking from this apartment where I'm sitting right now in Gothenburg, Sweden, to Palestine. It took 11 months through 13 countries, almost 5,000 kilometers, to raise awareness about the human rights violations being committed by the Israeli forces under the hard hand of the occupation.
So my first question is, what triggered you to start the 4,800 kilometer walk for 11 months to Palestine?
I think what motivates anyone to start taking action and start being an active part in trying to make the world a little bit better place for everyone is that it really starts with knowledge and awareness. I mean, we don't solve problems that we don't know about. And most people, unfortunately, don't know about the situation in Palestine because this is not something we read in Western media very much. I can talk as a Swedish person. We don't read about Palestine very much in our news. And when we do read about it, we don't really understand it because it's not very nuanced and it's not very in-depth. And I think for most people that maybe don't know about the case in Western Sahara or about Kashmir or about the horrible situation for women in Congo, if you don't know about these topics, you will not be engaged and motivated to do something about it either. So it all really starts with knowledge and awareness. So I figured if I just raise as much awareness as possible, we will create more people that will be engaged to fight for the human rights of the Palestinian people and all people, of course.
I agree with you on that. Can I ask you to describe your 11-month experience for us? How was it? Yeah. What did you endure?
This is the most difficult question I get all the time. Like, how was the time on the road? It was a full year of experience from being extremely lonely in solitude for several days in different countries, just walking without meeting anyone, from being like almost ecstatic from meeting such amazing people in different cities and doing lectures at universities speaking about this case. From the lowest low to the highest high, I've met so many amazing people. I have been invited to a lot of homes. I have made wonderful new friends and connections that will last me a lifetime. At the same time, I've been sleeping in the snow, under bridges, walking in the rain, walking over mountains, walking in the desert heat in Jordan and Lebanon. It's been extremely tough and extremely rewarding at the same time.
That's wonderful. I read reports that during your 11-month walk, you were detained in the Czech Republic for carrying a Palestinian flag. Can you tell us about that?
That's not really true. I was what happened in the Czech Republic in Prague was that when I'm walking with Google Maps. So I'm just typing my destination and I'm following the blue line that it types out for me. So that time, the blue line took me right past the Israeli embassy, which was an experience. So I was walking right past the embassy with a huge Palestinian flag and my baby stroller. So the guards stopped me. They didn't arrest me, but they detained me on the spot for almost 2 hours. It didn't take many minutes before I was surrounded by police officers and intelligence personnel from both the embassy and from the Czech Republic. What really bothered me was that the Israelis, which were wearing civilian clothes, but you could see clearly that they were intelligence personnel, asked me for my passport, and obviously they do not have the authority outside the embassy to ask me for anything. I'm in the Czech Republic, not in Israel. So, of course, I refused them. But when the Czech police asked me for my passport also, it's their country, so obviously I'm going to give them my passport. And they just handed it to the Israelis, and all the Israelis took a picture of my passport. I felt so like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you giving them my passport to take pictures of it? It's extremely dangerous. You don't know what they will do. eventually they called it the bomb squad. So like a bomb technician arrived and examined all my stuff, and they kept asking if I had any weapons, in particular knives, since I was sort of a traveler. I'm doing a lot of camping, so I should have a knife, right? So they kept asking for the knife, but I told them I don't have a knife. I had a tiny, tiny knife, which was really difficult to find. They didn't find it, but who knows what they were going to do if I was going to show them that. I don't think it's illegal in the Czech Republic to carry with you a little knife for camping. But we all know how the Israelis are talking about weapons and guns and knives. Like they will use any excuse they can to make life very difficult for the people that are talking about human rights and the Palestinian people in general. So I try to not give them that excuse that time.
That is true. Well, that is a story.
Yeah, and then I just continued walking. When they released me, I said, all right, guys, I'm going to Palestine. See you there, maybe.
You were saying you were walking in a lot of different types of conditions, and a lot of people began taking you to their homes, and you made friends. Were there people that were against you or against your cause?
Well, yeah. All the time when you are talking about these kinds of issues, you have people on the other side that I think are mostly misinformed and don't really understand the situation in Palestine and on the ground, and have been fed a lot of misinformation and propaganda, we can call it. So obviously there is a lot of people not supportive of the human rights of the Palestinian people, but rather see all the Palestinians as terrorists, unfortunately, which the media is a big culprit of portraying this picture sometimes. The people that were aggressive that I met on the road were mostly nationalists, I think. They usually don't tell you why they are angry and why they are aggressive. For example, a guy stopped his car in Slovakia when I was walking along a road. It was really disturbing because he had his, I think, 10-year-old suffering daughter beside him. He just pulled over his car in front of me. I was walking on a big, almost highway, and very, rudely asked me what flag I was carrying. I said, that's Palestine. And like where I'm from Sweden. He said, that's not the Swedish flag. I said, no, it's the Palestinian side. That's where I'm going. And then he tried to take the flag from me, but obviously I did not let him take anything. We had a little scuffle, some pushing, and he pushed over all my stuff, so they were lying on the road, all spread out. He told me he was going to call the police, and I'm like, please, yes, call the police so they can take you away, so I can continue on in peace and quiet. And all the while, his daughter is sitting in the car watching her aggressive, nationalistic, racist father, assault some random guy on the road. I feel really sorry for her and how she's going to grow up. But eventually, he left me alone. I mean, I'm not the guy that bends to that sort of thing. I would just stand my ground until he leaves. Yeah. So he left, and I picked up all my stuff and continued. I made a post about it, and after that, a lot of Slovakian media were getting in touch, and I was meeting a lot of Slovakian people that apologized for him. He's obviously not a representative in any way of the Slovakian people. They are great, amazing people. And actually, when these kinds of incidents happen, it's very good, because then people get even more attention, and you can direct that attention to Palestine. This is what the whole journey is about. So if something bad happens to me, I will share it, and then hopefully more people will take notice, and I can use that awareness and that attention to direct it towards the human rights abuses in Palestine, which is what the whole journey is about in the first place.
Well, your walk definitely raised attention around the world. All news media were reporting about your walk, so you did an amazing thing. I would like to ask you about when you arrived to the Allenby Bridge. What reason were you given from the Israeli authorities on being banned from entering Palestine?
Right, so that was an extremely tough day, the last day, walking from Amman to the border across the bridge. So it started with walking 12 hours in 40 degrees heat, which was extremely tough. It was very rough, lots of ups and downs. So I was pretty exhausted during the interrogation when I finally arrived. And the interrogation took 6 hours. They were asking questions like, who am I going to meet in Palestine? They wanted names and telephone numbers. And for those of us who know what the Israeli forces are doing against Palestinians and about their policies of collective punishment, about their house demolitions, about their administrative detention, putting people in prison without any reason or legal basis, without the right to an attorney or the right to a fair trial. When you know all of these things, you get really cautious with giving any name to these authorities, because you know that whatever name you would give, that person might get in trouble because they might want to punish you for talking about human rights and being in the spotlight to the crimes they are committing on a daily basis. So they might want to punish me by punishing any friends that I would know. So obviously I didn't give them an answer to that. They also wanted to see my phone, and they wanted to check my messages on my social media. Of course, the same story there. I cannot let them do that. That's why I didn't bring my phone with me. I brought a different phone, a phone without any contacts, without any passwords, just in case they would take it by force. They didn't this time, but I've heard many stories where they do that to other people. And I think that they know, since I have some media attention and some spotlight on me, that whatever they would do, I would tell to the international community, and they might get even worse than their already extremely bad reputation. So they treated me not too bad. I mean, it's not comparable to what Palestinians are going through when they are arrested in the middle of the night from their homes and tortured. So after the 6-hour interrogation, which was they mainly wanted to know what I was going to do in Palestine and who I was going to meet. That was like the two things they kept on pushing. And of course I responded with, I'm going to travel around in Palestine and meet people. Like, I don't know who I'm going to meet. I'm going to meet new people that I haven't met yet, make some new friends, both Palestinians and Israelis. I said I just don't have a really specific plan, because I didn't have a specific plan. I mean, I know that they're probably going to not enter anyway, so why make like a whole itinerary when you know that you're probably just going to go back, because they routinely refuse human rights activists, Palestinians, Arabs, Jews that are fighting for human rights also. Like, whoever that speaks out against Israel's crime against humanity and against Palestinians will get banned from entering Palestine, which is in itself an illegal act. I mean, we're talking about occupied territory and about occupying soldiers, preventing people from visiting their homelands. I mean, that's a case within itself. So they gave me 2 reasons after all of this, after the 6 hours of pretty exhausting interrogation. I mean, they're very good with interrogating. We don't really have much of a chance. I mean, there are professional interrogators that have interrogated thousands of people. I'm not a professional being interrogated person. I mean, I haven't been interrogated too much. So they gave me 2 reasons. One was that they accused me of having the intention of organizing a demonstration in Nabi Saleh, which I was like, what? What are you saying? Like, even if that was true, which is not, like, even if I had the intention of organizing a demonstration, what kind of reason is that for not allowing me into Palestine? I mean, they love to portray themselves as the only democracy in the Middle East, like the only democracy on earth, in the universe. And, like, arranging a demonstration, that's, like, the core of freedom of speech, which a democracy entails very much. But apparently that's a reason for them to not let someone into their occupied territory in Palestine, which they don't even have a right to have any say in who goes there and who does not. And the second reason was that they accused me of lying during the interrogation and of changing my story. So those were the 2 reasons, and one of them is really hilarious. I mean, they will accuse anyone and everyone of lying. It's really easy. How can you disprove that? But come on, organizing a demonstration, like that was gonna... I don't know where they got that from, and I don't know why that would be any reason whatsoever. It's just pathetic.
Definitely, those 2 reasons are not enough for banning somebody from a country. Did you expect Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to grant you Palestinian nationality after you were banned? Or was it a surprise?
Well, of course not. I mean, I still only read about it in the news, so I still don't know if it's true or not. I mean, he didn't tell me, but he was happy to go and tell the media straight away. So I don't know if he did or not. It's not that like I'm doing this for a reward anyway. And for me, it's just strange to read about that and not being informed. I think it's kind of bad. You should. I don't think you can impose a nationality on someone. I think, like, if Russia's president will make me a Russian, he should ask me first, go and tell the media later. Like, first of all, do you want to be a citizen or not? But yeah, so that's just a strange thing for me that they haven't gotten in touch whatsoever. And I just read about it in the news, and then I had to comment on it when I'm doing interviews. I mean, what can I say? I don't know if it's true or not because they haven't told me.
That is true, but at least you are now one of the Palestinians, legally.
I feel that we don't have to be Palestinians to care about the injustice in Palestine, just as we don't have to be starving to care about the hungry. We don't have to be women to fight for women's rights, which is human rights. I mean, we have to do as much as we can to make this place a little better place for everyone, this place being the planet that we all live on. And there are many people suffering, and there are many privileged people like me who happened to be born by chance in a nice country like Sweden, where we don't have occupation and we don't have torture and these horrible things. So for me, being a Swedish person, I also have some moral responsibility, I feel, because I've been given all the privileges that one can be given in this world. And either I just sit back and enjoy all the luxuries of being a Swedish person, being able to travel anywhere without any visa problems, being able to study for free, even being paid for studying. I mean, all these things we have that other people don't have. At least we can take some of our time to try and make the world a little better place for those people who weren't as lucky to be born in a place like this.
I really wanted to ask you if you're willing to come back again to Palestine and try for a second time.
Of course. So my plan right now is to go to the United States. I'm leaving on the 2nd of September, and I'm staying for around 3 months to do pretty much the same thing that I've been doing for the last 11 months. Not walking, but the awareness-raising thing. So I'm going to different universities and schools and community centers and libraries and just every venue that would have me to do lectures and talks about Palestine, the human rights abuses under the occupation and the life of the Palestinian people, mixed with some of my journey, of course. So I'll be doing that for 3 months, and I need some help with the connections in the United States, because everything I do is just me. I'm just me, just a normal guy. I don't know anyone in the States. I know a few people, but not enough. So I need help with organizing all of this. If anyone wants to help me, just send me a message on my social media. And after that, I will try to go to Palestine again because I want to learn Arabic. And I think Ramallah is a good place to do that in Birzeit University. So I would like to try that, and I would like to try and of course, travel around and meet a lot of Palestinians and Israelis and be there for some time, because I care a lot about this place. So I will try early next year, maybe in January, after my speaking tour in the United States. Of course, we know that all the borders in Palestine are occupied and controlled by an occupying force, which with no legal basis whatsoever can refuse me entry, even though I would have every invitation, I think, by a lot of Palestinian people. So we will see how it goes, but I hope I can come and visit you early next year.
Well, good luck with going to the United States, and I hope to see you here soon in Palestine, and that you come visit the Ma'an Studios in Bethlehem.
Yeah, sure, I'll come and say hi.
Lastly, I would like to ask you if you're involved in any other solidarity activities in Sweden, other than the ones you mentioned now in the United States.
Yeah, I'm always doing everything I can. So recently the people from a ship to Gaza came back to Sweden that were sailing from Sweden to Gaza and got intercepted on international waters and hijacked, arrested, put into prison, and then deported. So I'm trying to help them with some media work, because they want to get their story out, and like they are also just normal people, so they need some help. I'm engaged in environmental activism, of course, because global warming is the most pressing issue of humanity. If we don't solve the climate crisis, we won't have a Palestine left to fight for. So when I was in Germany during this walk, for example, I joined a big demonstration for the environment, a big action. And I'm just always trying to do as much as I can with the time and the energy I have to be as active as possible in every issue, because there's only one case. There's the case for human rights and making the world a better place for everyone. That's the case. That's the cause. And that entails every other cause. Black Lives Matter, Palestine, Kashmir, everything, West Sahara. and the environment and animal rights. It's just this one cause for me. So I'm doing a lot of stuff.
Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Ladraa, for taking the time to do this interview with us here at MAN.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to thank the viewers for watching this interview with Benjamin Ladraa, a Swedish human rights activist who continually raises awareness about the Palestinian cause.